Hey, welcome to segment 4. We're trucking along here at Makeup Effects Live at IMATS 2015. You just saw the show reel of Odd Studio, an Australia, Sydney-based makeup effects house founded by these two gentlemen. We are joined by Adam Johansen and Damian Martin.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome to the webcast, guys.
Thank you very
and
much.
welcome to America.
Thanks for having us, everyone.
How's your jet lag? I know you guys flew in yesterday.
Yeah, we landed yesterday morning at 8, so we're still lagged.
Still feeling it.
We're slowly getting ready for your demo, which is happening in a few hours.
Indeed,
That's
yeah.
right.
3:30 today on the main stage.
So that's when we'll probably really hit the wall then. Just in
Good,
time
right
to
in the
go
middle
off
of
on
the demo.
stage and then, fall down.
Crash
And
and
the
burn.
brush goes into the actor's eye, and
Glue on the
demo
lap.
is finished.
Ta-da.
Well, welcome to the States, guys.
Yeah.
We're fans of your work at Odd Studio. We posted a Chimp makeup you guys did, sort of Planet of the Apes inspired Chimp makeup that was so amazing. It went viral on our wall, and the work you guys do is really top notch. So welcome. For those of you who don't know Odd Studio and don't know Adam and Damian's credits, I'm going to tell them to you. We've got Babe, Pig in the City. That's you, Adam. Superman Returns. Australia, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Where the Wild Things Are, Terminus, and Star Wars Episodes 2 and 3 you both worked on.
That's correct.
That's kind of awesome.
It is kind of.
And you guys both worked on maybe my favorite of your credits, and it's coming up, is Mad Max.
Yes.
The new Mad Max.
Fury
Road. Who wants to see Mad Max Fury Road? We all do.
We do.
Yeah.
And you guys got to work on it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So-
that was epic.
So you guys have been very busy, obviously, and you've got some great stuff coming up. What's it like? What is the makeup effects industry in Australia, and where does Odd Studio fit into that?
Sure. I think, well, Damian and I first met on Farscape. You guys know Farscape.
Of course.
Sci-fi.
Big
Tons
sci-fi.
of great makeups.
Yeah.
So we did that. We met on that. We did that with Dave Elsey, and we had like 4 years. It went for 4 years. It was like 9 months in a year each season. So
Yeah,
4 seasons.
22 episodes a season. It's huge. It's fantastic.
And it was
Boot camp.
Boot camp, absolutely.
yeah,
New
so-
creature every week, just high turnover, a lot of imagination, a lot of freedom. It was a beautiful place to work.
That's great. And the TV schedule. Once you've done that,
Absolutely.
films are like,
if
we
you
have
can-
how much time to prepare? Although that's changing.
It's
turning
changing
into TV
massively.
schedule.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So we can
We've
fall
gone
back
back
onto,
there.
hey, we did Farscape, we'll be okay.
Yeah,
We're good.
2
We're
days,
good.
no worries. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was amazing. It was great to be part of that team. And yeah, so I just did Babe 2 before that. We went into Farscape, met on Farscape. And in between the seasons of Farscape, it was when the Aussie dollar was really bad. It was really quite low. So there was a lot of Hollywood films coming over. So in between the seasons of Farscape, there'd be things like Matrix that we worked on. There'd be
The Matrix. How could I not have mentioned The Matrix? They
2
got
and
to work on
3,
the
yeah.
Matrix
2 and 3.
Yep.
trilogy. How cool
Indeed.
is that?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you work
Briefly.
with Hugh or Hugo? Or is it Hugo?
Hugo,
Eating?
yep.
Did you work with him?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
I did a lot of
Actually,
work with doing the rows and rows of Hugos for the
Fantastic.
fight scene
The
into
big
the
Hugo
rain.
fight,
Yeah,
you
fitting
guys worked
mask
on
after
that?
mask after mask.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was.
And then you decided, let's start our own studio. What
Yeah.
possessed you to start your own?
That was
Oh.
after. Well, also in between, we'd be lucky enough there'd be a large film, but we've been contacted to work on a commercial or a small job in between, which meant setting up a studio for this short job, pulling it down again, and then going back to Farscape, and then again set up a small studio, and there were enough contacts coming through independently for the smaller jobs that were just at the end of Star Wars. I was working on
last
Man
Star Wars,
Thing at the
yeah.
end of Star Wars. I jumped ship. Yeah, we just sort of got together and thought that, that there's enough, we're pulling in enough work as individuals to warrant setting up a studio.
It'd be worth saying that's something I've always wanted to do. Damian's
Oh,
always wanted to
absolutely.
do. We were fanboys, grew up with the original Star Wars films, just being obsessed with, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, American Werewolf, all that kind of stuff. So we'd always had that. We want to have our own business and, try and take control.
It was in the bedroom
of,
since we were tiny, and you always want that space. And then when
That
you
was
have
it.
the opportunity to have your space.
Your space where
We'd
you
be
can
making stuff anyway. It's like, we may as well get a studio.
Yeah.
Put a name to
So
it.
who's
and,
the business head? Who's the art head? Or are you both business heads?
We're a bit of both.
There's a crossover, definitely.
That's a rare thing because
it is.
artists, generally speaking,
Yeah.
business is not the thing.
Yeah.
And
No.
if
And
you can marry those two things, That's great.
And that's something we had to learn because now it's not just about the work. You are running a company.
Yeah.
And the
you have to do webcasts.
the machinations of that.
You have to do webcasts like this and promote yourselves. So
I was
you're
really
doing
happy
well.
behind the camera. But yeah, now it's
Is
not
the buzzer
not an
we
option.
implanted in that chair bugging you?
Yeah,
He's
no, it's great.
trying to keep you on your toes.
It's
great.
hurting now.
Good.
It's a good pain.
And tell us about your shop. You guys are full service. You don't just do makeups.
No, we don't do. We do everything. We do models and props. We do animatronic creatures, full creature suits, prosthetics. I mean, the prosthetics and creature effects are what we specialize in. It's what we grew up with. It's what we love.
And I would say it's a big part of that. Recently, we've been lucky enough to be getting a lot of. It seems like there's a lot of prosthetic jobs coming through, both in commercial world and the film and television world. For a while, when we first set up shop, there wasn't that volume of work for that. Just somehow, there was, and then it just went through this a bit of a lull. So we're forced to diversify as well, just to keep the work coming through.
Another good thing for any artist out there.
Absolutely.
Get a business hat on, and also be a diversified
You have to
artist.
diversify. You have to.
There's
Whether
so much
it's
crossover.
working on a model kit in your spare time, or doing a line of paints for
That's right.
whatever,
Absolutely.
or you have to do it all.
Yeah.
And fortunately, there's lots of opportunities to do different things with this skill set.
That's
which
right.
is-
Yeah,
which is great.
Absolutely.
I mean, we
Yeah,
found that
crossing.
not only did we not really want to just pigeonhole ourselves as one, we love doing everything, but it's more diverse. So
It's fun.
Yeah.
it's like
And you have a client base who eventually you build up that just think you can do anything. So
Anything.
they call up and say, you don't want to disappoint. So
When
it's
you
like,
need a magician,
Yeah.
go to Odd Studio because
No
I
worries.
think they do everything.
Yeah.
They make
Sometimes we
great
get calls, it's
pancakes.
Like, no, we
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. I guess we
Okay.
do.
All right.
Yo.
Yeah, let's find someone that can do that.
Yeah.
No.
So tell us about, beyond odds, I interrupted you. What were you
No,
about
that's
to say,
fine.
Damian?
No, I've lost
Tell
my
us
train.
about the scene in Australia generally. I mean, obviously, we have some great Peter Jackson, New Zealand or
He's New Zealand.
New Zealand,
Yeah,
but
so
still
he's wetter.
close.
Close.
A
We have-
practical effects junkie from the beginning with his
Yes.
early films.
Yeah.
Is there a love of it down there?
Absolutely.
Generally,
I
do you
think
feel
there is. There
Well,
is
you
a love. There's an amazing, because it's not a huge community, it's not a huge population, but there is a big base of fanboys, people that are into it, that are out there, and they pop up at certain times when you're not expecting it. There's underground. And I think
you have your George Millers that are just,
Yeah.
cult classic. Mad Max just loves practical effects.
Yeah.
I mean, the new Mad Max film, it's just tons of stunts
In-camera.
and in-camera practical stuff, like real stuff.
shot in an actual
in a
terrible
desert,
environment?
Yeah.
in
With real
harsh
vehicles.
reality.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
real
vehicles,
explosions,
with real humans
with real
hanging off them.
stunts,
Yeah.
with real humans.
Yeah, awesome. It is. It's
It is,
awesome.
yeah,
It's like the most expensive independent film ever made.
No
It's how
slam
we
against
describe
CGI because we love CGI and
Absolutely.
what it can do for us,
And
but
there's-
showing up on a set where it's real costumes, real props, real vehicles,
it.
Yeah.
real danger
Yeah,
is thrilling.
absolutely.
thrilling.
Um, I have a question for you guys. I don't want to exclude the viewers.
Not at all.
Hold on one second. I'm bringing up my tab. Not being rude here. I'm bringing up your question here. This is from Hugo. What is the difference between working on a big production like Star Wars and a small production like a commercial? What's the?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great working on both. A big film is like Star Wars. It's thrilling to be a part of. We all grew up with Star Wars. That's great, but you're part of a huge team. There's so many elements to a film, as you know, production designer all the way down. Your part can sometimes be quite small or quite watered down, which, it's okay, that's fair enough. Often we find the smaller projects, we've carved a bit of a niche for ourselves at Odd Studio in Australia for doing lots of old age makeups and simian makeups. And
do you also do
artistically-
old simian makeups?
we have done old
Have done old
simian
simian.
Married
Oh,
it
yeah,
to?
absolutely.
That's important.
May
Yeah.
as well, yeah. Those little smaller projects, we kind of get a little bit more freedom, especially now after years of doing that. We're sort of it's kind of like, here's the project, guys, see what you can come up with. So artistically, we can kind of hey, what do you reckon of that, dude? You know, it's like, yeah.
It's a bit more of a one-on-one discussion. There's not the
not such a
layers
committee.
of yeah.
The 17 executive producers
Well,
who have to
absolutely.
sign off on
yeah,
every.
Yeah, and you
No
think
slam against executive
absolutely
producers.
None at
not,
all.
none
You
at
bring
all.
the money,
Would never
and
do
that's
that.
good.
Yeah,
but it does.
yeah.
It's a lot of cooks.
The more,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
You know.
exactly, and being able
Having
to
said
deal
that,
with.
the commercial world's becoming a little bit more like that too, but
Gotta
not to that
tick.
same scale. So, yeah, the smaller projects can be artistically sometimes a little bit more satisfying.
You're that little bit closer to the director. You're having that direct conversation with the director,
Yeah.
whereas sometimes there's that chain of command that things, just by the nature, you know, not every department head can have the director's ear at all times.
And sometimes having the budget constraints forces you guys to be clever. And
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
I think some
Yeah.
of the best innovation comes from not having the
I agree.
resources.
That's
Yeah.
right.
to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
How many? What?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
This is like a 2 month.
We can't do that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have to do
Yeah.
this. Like, let's come up with it. And Damian and I love that. We love inventing stuff, creating stuff that, you know,
Yeah.
drawing on other industrial industries and things like that to
And
come
we
up
both,
with.
yeah,
You know?
starting in our bedrooms and in Australia, where you know there wasn't an Alcone, there wasn't anything like that.
You guys
when
were
we
really
little.
freaks.
We just had to make.
There was
you had
no
to
one
find-
like you.
No, there were
I mean,
others like
makeup
us.
effects fans are freaks in the U.S., but in Australia,
You got to
like,
you got to
you
hunt
like-
high and low for
you
stuff.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Mike,
can't get that,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's try this.
go wrestle a crocodile like a good Australian boy. That's what you guys do,
That's
right?
right. That's
Don't
right.
do
And kangaroos.
makeup. Come
Yeah.
on, kangaroos and shrimp on the Barbie, and let's just do it.
That's it.
Koalas.
That's not a knife. Yeah.
So what are your strengths? Who's artistically are you more the makeup guy? Are you more the makeup guy? Are you both?
we're both the-
Mechanical side? What is the sort of breakup of skills?
Yeah, I think from the start of a job, I mean, we both apply makeup. We both love applying makeup and seeing it right through. And we both do both things. But
Yeah.
I think the way we work best is I sort of do the designing and sculpting and sort of mold making. And then Damian does a bit of the mold making, the casting, and the art finishing. And yeah, it's...
So you are sort of leading the application phase or leading the...
I'm more the coloring. The
Got
coloring, coloring, finishing.
You're the finisher. You're the
finisher,
detailer. You're
the detailer,
make
the
sure
color,
it's
the color
perfect.
match, the do
And
all
you don't have
that.
the patience for it.
No,
You're the designer, the
absolutely.
sculpture, and now you finish it.
No, he's got
Make it look real.
plenty of opinion on that. Just like when he's sculpting, I have plenty of opinion
Yes,
on that.
exactly.
So,
My finishing
yeah.
comes in the clay.
There's-
Good,
yeah,
And, yeah.
there's
So
no
then
way.
you shouldn't have any finishing to do.
Yeah, just a color wash, walk away.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good that you guys have that dance.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... yeah, I
There's
think it
so
works.
many
Yeah.
crafts
But there's also
that are required to get a simple makeup done, as you mentioned, from
Yeah.
the sculpt to the mold
Yeah.
making to the running it.
Yeah.
To know all those things makes you guys good bosses because you know if
can-
your employees are doing it right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get out of the way.
So
This
I
is how you
actually
do
can
it.
make a
Yeah.
mold.
We're
right.
control freaks. We're pretty... I don't know. I think we're nice to work for, but we're told we are. But I think we could be quite annoying as well.
But
That's
If
just-
you work for Odd
there's
Studio
a way.
and you're watching this webcast, please write in the comments
Are we-
whether or not they're good to work for. Let's be
do that.
transparent
Don't do
here.
that, no.
And only say good things
Yeah.
because we know your names.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Dimitri asking where that incredible chimpanzee makeup came from. What was that
Oh, that was... I think you're talking about the Hyundai Chimp, which is...
Yes,
I
the one that
posted
got all that
Yeah,
love.
yeah. That, well, actually, that was a good story behind that. It was a commercial that we were approached to quote on 3 animals, and they all drive vehicles. The chimp drove a van, there was a hyena on a motorbike, and there was a big ox that was a truck driver.
Yeah.
It was a really silly commercial,
Stereotyping.
but, you know,
Yeah.
it was really
And it
fun.
offended a lot of people, but
But,
The Ox community.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
way knows how to
and
join.
arms.
Up in horns, yeah. They,
Up in horns.
But there was a big battle for the CG or practical on that. So the director really stuck with practical, even though he had a visual effects background.
Strong visual effects
He really
background,
wanted to
yeah.
shoot all this in camera, so it became about getting as much in camera as possible. So we built the Chimp, and we really wanted to design it in a way that it didn't have any dialogue, so we didn't need to do which we have done before, the Planet of the Apes style shorter muzzle thing.
Yeah.
And I know you guys and Stan, did some tests for Planet of the Apes and they incorporated the longer muzzle,
Yes.
which we
The
sort of did do
animatronic,
that,
yeah.
the animatronic thing, which was great. So we did a bit of that, and then they were going to do a little bit of CG augmentation on the mouth area, which didn't really need to happen. There was quite a bit of articulation anyway with the foam, but it was really just quite a realistic-looking chimp Chimp, not a Chimp man hybrid, but you know,
it was closer to the true Chimp side of things.
Yeah.
And you guys saw that Chimp in the show reel we saw, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So rewind if you're tuning in late. Oh, we saw a picture of it. Good.
Cool.
So for those of you who want to look at it again and just examine it, because it's a beautiful piece of work, just rewind on the description.
Cool.
So I wanted to jump into you're talking about VFX augmentation.
Sure.
Maybe that makeup didn't require it, but generally speaking, what do you think of this trend that I really like of going back to makeups, going back to taking the practical approach, and then just augmenting where you need to? I'm seeing a lot of this happening.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
When it's well done, it's a lovely tool. I think
Yeah.
it's the perfect marriage of the two things.
I think
You
it
get
can
that
work really
in-camera performance. You can two people interacting, and you know,
and the feeling of actual light hitting something.
Absolutely.
And
from a VFX reference, you have all that reference.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to mapping stuff on, they've got it in situ. You know, it's the ultimate.
this is
sample.
the hybrid approach.
Yeah.
I
It
think
is
it's
the
great.
way to go.
Yeah,
I think
I
so.
have no problem with that at all.
I think where it gets a little murky is when the makeup artists aren't really involved too much beyond their makeup on set, and then it goes to visual effect. I think sometimes it can get a little lost there, and sometimes you can lose the magic of the makeup. It would be great to see more of the. And Bill Corso's talking about this.
What masters
recently.
are doing, keeping it in-house and keeping their CG
There are a
augment.
bunch of shot. Bill Corso, as you said, spoke to. I'm sure he called you guys a year ago more about solving that problem and bridging that gap and keeping the makeup artist involved through post-production with VFX. And the VFX guys, from what I'm hearing, are loving it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, oh, great. You started this process. Help me do my job better. It's not to say we're not going to use the digital tools, but let's be consistent and let's serve the makeup as it was intended.
It's not a new thing. You know, at Weta, Gino was in with the 3D guys. So it's years, 10 years ago now, having that conversation, saying, you know, here's the practical, this is the reality of painting silicon and what makes it look great. How do we do that digitally? How do we
and that's the best,
keep
that's
that
the best
aesthetic,
work you see. A really nice, team
collaborative.
effort.
It is, and I'm seeing some.
It's still just a tool, and it's
just when you think we've taken what can be achieved as far as it can go, you see a lot of this new hybrid work that's just going, well, okay, we have WoW again.
And
we have WoW again. Because
we're actually guessing.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Which bit was real? Which bit was, I can't
and that went
tell.
away for like 15 years because you knew pretty much all was digital. So there's no,
Absolutely.
how did they do it?
That's right.
But now with the blending again, it not only looks better, but it makes you go, magic trick, how the heck?
Yeah.
And,
And it's been a long while, but between drinks for that one.
High five. All right. I just saw that movie recently with my son, so I had to do a little Borat. So, guys, we have to, unfortunately, say goodbye. But before we do, those of you who would like to follow Odd Studio, are we on this camera right now? Are we on this camera? Those of you who would like to follow Odd Studio, and we hope you all do, in the video description, we have links. Just scroll down. You're going to see Damian Martin. You're going to see his link. You're going to see Adam Johansen. You're going to see his link. And I think both those links take them to your website and perhaps also your Facebook page, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, oddstudio.com is the website. Easy.
Just follow them everywhere on all their various platforms. You guys have a Tumblr and a Vine, and I'm sure you have a.
We will now. We'll get onto that.
Tumblr, Vine.
We have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Very good.
And we'll get onto the other two.
Great. And MySpace. That's their biggest hub. MySpace.
Big.
Wait, does that still exist?
I don't know.
All right, so check them out, and on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for
thanks, Matt.
being here.
Thanks
so much for
Adam
having
and
us.
Damian.
Yeah,
and
pleasure.
next up, guys, we have Rob Berman and Fred Blau. We are going to talk about their long histories in Hollywood. Rob is part of the Berman dynasty, who's been mentioned a couple times during this webcast already. So please come back for that. And in the meantime, we're going to run a 5-minute commercial for you, and we'll be back right after that.
Fantastic.
Odd Studio.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.